Let's talk about one of the biggest challenges for any company, figuring out why people quit. It's a question that can feel like a total mystery. But what if the answer has been right there, hiding in plain sight, this whole time?
You know the feeling. A great employee, someone you really count on, puts in their notice. But what's the real reason? Is it what they tell their boss? Or is there something else, something deeper that they'd only share if they felt truly safe to do so?
You see, the truth behind why people leave, it isn't some problem to be managed. It's an incredible asset. Seriously, it's like a hidden treasure map full of honest feedback that could help your company get better and keep its best people. The only catch? It's almost always buried.
So, if this feedback is so valuable, what's the big deal if we don't dig it up? Well, to really get it, we have to look at the steep price companies pay every single time an employee decides to walk out the door.
I mean, sure, there are the obvious costs you can see on a spreadsheet. Workflows get totally messed up, the team's morale takes a nosedive, and of course, the costs for recruiting and training a new person just pile up. But the biggest cost, the most damaging one, isn't on any balance sheet. It's that invisible loss, that massive missed opportunity to learn why it happened in the first place, which is the only way you can stop it from happening over and over again.
Okay, so if learning is that important, why aren't we nailing this? Well, it turns out the very tools we've been relying on for years, the classic exit interview and the standard company survey, are actually part of a pretty broken feedback loop.
Think about it. On one hand, you've got the face-to-face interview. It can be good, sure, but it takes forever. It's really tough to do for everyone in a big company. And let's be honest, the quality totally depends on who's asking the questions. Then, on the other hand, you've got surveys. Yeah, they're easy to send out, but they feel so impersonal, like a checkbox you just want to get through. They almost never capture the real story or the emotion behind someone's experience. Neither one is giving you the whole truth. And here's where it gets even worse. The little feedback we do get is usually skewed. It almost always comes from people in office jobs or managers. You know, the folks who sit at a desk all day with easy access to a laptop and company email. So who does that leave out? This is the company's biggest blind spot. We are totally missing the voices of people on the factory floor, the remote techs out in the field, the frontline staff who might not even speak the same language as corporate headquarters. Their feedback is absolutely critical to understanding what the culture is really like, but our old methods just aren't set up to hear them.
Now, this massive gap in understanding is exactly what a new approach called the Synfia shift is all about. It's a fundamental change in how we even think about collecting exit feedback. The big idea here is to move away from that stiff, formal process we're all used to and move towards something that feels, well, more like a real, authentic conversation. It's about creating a space where people feel comfortable enough to tell you what's really going on.
This whole shift is about empowerment. It hands the control back to the employee. They get to share their thoughts whenever it works for them, in whatever language they're most comfortable with, and using their own words, not just picking from a drop-down menu. All those barriers that kept people quiet before, gone. The engine behind all this is something called voice-first AI. And don't let the name scare you. Put simply, it's tech that's designed to listen with the empathy of a great human interviewer, but it has the incredible reach of a massive digital platform. You basically get the best of both worlds.
So how does an AI listen like a person? It's not just about recording someone talking. It's about creating a genuine dialogue that can actually uncover those deep insights. Let's break down how it actually works.
So here's the play-by-play. It all starts by being inclusive. You can have this conversation on your phone, at a kiosk in the warehouse, or even over a simple phone call. Then the AI starts a human-like chat, asking smart, open-ended follow-up questions. This isn't a survey. It's a real conversation that picks up on emotion and tone. And here's the magic. The AI then analyzes hundreds of these conversations, spotting patterns and themes. The final step? It gives leadership completely anonymous, easy-to-understand insights they can actually use, all without ever compromising anyone's privacy.
And to make sure these conversations are truly for everyone, the platform understands and can chat in over 40 languages. This is huge. It means an employee's ability to be honest isn't blocked by a language barrier. Every single voice can finally be heard. All right, collecting all this rich, authentic data is amazing, but data is just noise unless you turn it into real action, right?
This is where you see the real strategic win. The old way was always about looking in the rear view mirror. You'd get these reports that told you what happened long after it was too late. This new way, though, is all about discovering the root cause. You shift from just reacting to turnover to proactively understanding why people are leaving, so you can fix the problem before you lose the next great employee. This lets you finally see the themes that those shallow surveys always miss. You can pinpoint the real reasons people are heading for the door. Maybe it's a leadership issue in one department, or a pattern of new hires feeling like the job wasn't what they were sold, or a culture that just doesn't feel inclusive to everyone. These are the real systemic issues that you can actually do something about. So when you put all this together, what's the big picture impact? Well, every single time someone leaves, it becomes a powerful chance to learn. You finally get a true diversity of insight, which lets you proactively fix the real problems, not just the symptoms. And when you do that, you build a much stronger employer brand. You become known as a company that genuinely listens and cares enough to act. And that last point is so important. This isn't just about spreadsheets and analytics. At its heart, this is about respect. When your people feel heard, even on their way out, it builds a level of trust that reinforces your reputation as a genuinely good place to work. Look, the takeaway here is pretty clear. In today's world where good people are everything, the ability to listen better, deeper, and more inclusively than ever before, it's not just a nice little HR initiative anymore. It's a strategic necessity. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. What are the stories, the frustrations, and maybe even the brilliant ideas that your employees are not telling you in those simple check-the-box surveys? Because finding out could be the key to your company's entire future. Thanks for tuning in.